All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Tyler Gates, aka TAGLive205, back at you with another video. It's going to be a lot of videos coming out today, a lot of episodes, so stay tuned for that. We're going to talk about Ace Bailey, possibly to the Atlanta Hawks. We're going to talk about Ace Bailey canceling his workouts. This video is mostly about Ace Bailey and what him and his team is doing in terms of canceling workouts. Is he going to drop to 10? Is he going to drop past 10? Is he going to still go in the top 2, 3, 4, or 5 because of the prospect that he is? I think yes, he still does. So, with that being said, we're going to talk about him canceling these workouts. This is a really interesting development, especially last night. Just so happened to wake up in the middle of the night and see that he's canceled his workout with the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, everybody wants to start hinting at possibilities that VJ Edgecombe could be the pick at 3, and I'm not doubting that. I do think that VJ Edgecombe fits their team long-term better than a Ace Bailey in terms of guard wing position. I'm not saying that Ace Bailey cannot play the guard position, but at the same time, we must understand that Ace Bailey, his team is doing this to try to stock his value at the highest level, but it's really destocking his value, if you get what I mean. He was scheduled to meet with the brass and the leadership this week. That meeting is now off. ESPN broke this news. Clutch Points also has confirmed this to be exact. We did get some more draft news from Jonathan Gavoni of Draft Express, ESPN's top draft insider. He did say that the Wizards, Pelicans, and Nets are teams to monitor as trade-up suitors if he does so happen to fall past 4. Now, the Jazz are sitting at 5. The Wizards are sitting at 6. So if he falls, he falls. I do think that the reason why Ace Bailey canceled his workout with Philadelphia is because you don't want to go into a toxic situation. I'm not calling Philadelphia toxic, but their previous season, was very, very, very toxic. You had Tyrese Maxey, who was in and out the lineup, but mostly in the lineup and mostly carrying his team and showing why he's now probably the next franchise player. Joel Embiid, who supposedly is the process, the franchise player, the man in Philadelphia, he has not shown that he's been the man thus far yet. Not getting past the second round has a lot to do with that. And injuries as well. We understand that Jared McCain, he had a great rookie season. It was probably going to be named Rookie of the Year if he did not get injured, and that's why Stephon Castle took that title. I do understand that Paul George also has a lot to do with this as well. You're looking at what Paul George has done for this 76ers team so far, and it's been little to none. It's been squash. It's been cucumbers mashed up. Okay, the big sign and trade-esque, because they want to sign and trade for him. We get it. You wanted to leave LA, but you say you wanted to go to LA when you wanted the Pacers, and then you wanted to leave LA, and now you're on the 76ers making a mess. But that's null and void. I still love Paul George. He's one of my favorite players to ever play this game. I do believe that he's going to have a bounce-back season, but it may not be for the 76ers if they know what's good for them. Now, I think the main reason why he canceled is because it's more of a power move from his team. It's a power move from the Bailey draft camp over there. We know he's not canceling these workouts. If he is, then that's kind of mind-boggling to me, considering that this draft process you're going to remember forever. It's a draft process for a reason. It's a path to the draft for a reason, because you're going to have fun on your way to the draft. You get to meet with different teams. You get to meet all these famous GMs. You get to meet all these famous scouts and stuff like that who work for these teams. They get to sit down with them and tell them why they should draft you or why they should not draft you. Now, I do understand if there are certain places that you don't want to play, we can try to get you somewhere else that you do want to play, considering that you are a top pulverized prospect in this year's draft. The second thing, his cancellation has a lot to do with preference. Yes, preference. I do believe that he wants to be in a few places, and I do believe that the Hawks are on that list just because we are hometown favorites. Obviously, he is from the South Wilson area where I am from, Atlanta, Georgia. He went to McEachern, so he is over here from this area, as well as Anthony Edwards is. I know the struggle that they had coming up in terms of learning the game of basketball. Heck, I even played football with Anthony Edwards on the Atlanta Vikings 10 and under team. I know. I know. Trust me. But back to Ace Bailey, his preferences have a lot to do with his perspective, right? He doesn't really view Philly's perspective as one as we're going to the playoffs next year. Now, they could go to the playoffs next year. I don't think Ace Bailey wants to go to a playoff team because he's afraid that he's not going to start and get minutes, right? Philadelphia Sixers may not be at number 3 for long. I don't think they're ever going to get this high again. They really got lucky that OKC didn't get their pick because – yeah, Sam Presti's he's just a genius GM. But Bailey's agents and his team, they likely want to control where he gets drafted. I believe that the Brooklyn Nets are a team that you look at. The Atlanta Hawks, like I just said, homegrown talent, but that's a team that the ownership has not come out and said anything about the current roster and the current team. Onsa Sala, who we just hired as the general manager, he has not come out and said anything either about this current state of the team. So what does it go to show you? That the Atlanta Hawks might have some moves up their sleeve. They might be trying to reboot this thing, rebuild this thing around Zachary Richardson and Jalen Johnson. I did not say Dyson Daniels because you have to give him a contract extension, but he's probably going to want a lot of money, right? Look at the season he just put up, the Great Barrier Thief. Now, I understand he does match his current timeline for the Atlanta Hawks. You have, like I said, Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, Zachary Richardson. But if you can get an Ace Bailey on this team to play one of your wing positions, you can slide Zachary Richardson to the 2. You could have Jalen Johnson either play the 3 or the 4, or Ace Bailey play the 3 or the 4 with Onyeka Okongwu or a Thomas Sorber with the number 22 pick. Now, I'm imagining us trading 13 to try to go up to the top 6 or 7 if he slides. But the vision of you playing with Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain, the vision of you playing with LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller, the vision of you playing with Alex Sarr, Bilal Coulibaly, and Bub Carrington, I think I like those moves as a more intriguing move, right? Now, I will say the move that I want for Ace Bailey, I would love him to come to my Hawks, but I have 5 preferences. 5 preferences for Ace Bailey. Now, I want you guys to listen up. If I can get it on my screen right here. There we go. Okay. Tyler's top 5. I know you see it. Give it to me. We're going to go the Memphis Grizzlies. And people are going to say, whoa, they're not rebuilding. If they do decide and they get a good package for Ja Morant and Triple J, and even Santi Aldama, who I've heard in sign and trade rumors over the past week, this is a guy that you can start over with a G.G. Jackson, with a Zach Edey already on the roster. You traded Jake LaRavia, So you kind of cook there because I do think LaRavia is going to be a good player. But you have Jaren Jackson Jr. and John Morant. You trade those guys away, get draft assets to try to trade up to the number 2 pick, because I don't think San Antonio is going to want to trade number 2 unless you're giving them a player. Go give them Jaren Jackson Jr. I know it's a in-conference trade, so it's going to cost you a little bit if you're San Antonio, but Jaren Jackson Jr. next to Wemby, I love it. And for Ace Bailey, you're going to a team where you get to be the franchise player. If they trade Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr. with a G.G. Jackson already there, I love this, right? You already have Cole Anthony and KCP who might get flipped. I think KCP more likely than Cole Anthony. But if they are looking to rebuild this thing from the bottom, you go get a Dylan Harper or you go get an Ace Bailey, primarily Ace Bailey. Go get you a star wing, 2-way guy that has no problem being the blame for putting the ball in the hoop. That has no problem being the blame for initiating certain things, right? Number 4, give it to me. Y'all see it on the screen. I'm going to go with the Brooklyn Nets. The reason why the Brooklyn Nets are the next team is because they just need a star. Cam Thomas is their best player right now. I don't think Cam Thomas is going to be on the Brooklyn Nets next season. And it's going to take a lot, apparently, to pry Nick Claxton away from the Brooklyn Nets. Dariq Whitehead, you got all the Jalen Wilson, you got all these young role players, but I don't think that they're going to have the star potential as Ace Bailey does. So what does that go to show you, Ace? This is the team that you might want to go to, right? You can attract stars. You could be the Porzingis for the Nets. You could try to attract stars, but don't let them push you out the door like they did Porzingis over there 20 minutes across the street. This goes to show you the Brooklyn Nets totality. This goes to show you that the rebuild is going around smoothly if they trade up for Ace Bailey or he drops to 8, right? Number 3, give it to me. I love this team for him. I'm going with the Washington Wizards. Yes, number 3, I really want to put them number 2, but there's another team I want to put number 2. The Washington Wizards, to me, you talk about Bub Carrington, Atl'S, Bilal Coulibaly, and Ace Bailey with a Keyshawn George in that starting lineup if they trade Jordan Poole. You got to think about this. They already traded Kuzma. Why not trade Poole to actually go younger and have this starting 5 develop? Because you don't want to be back in this spot next year. You want to get somebody in the lower to mid late lottery, like 10 to 14. That's somebody that's going to help out your rotation, not take over these minutes, because I believe a Bub, George, Coulibaly, Bailey, and Sarr starting 5 is a good starting 5 for Washington. This is a guy who can star and be the 3rd or 4th star in your core 4 that you have of Bub, Sarr, Bilal, and now add Ace Bailey to that. A guy that you can develop if you're a Will Dawkins and crew. Number 2, the Charlotte Hornets. Plain and simple. If you are the Charlotte Hornets, I'm going to say this. You need a star to go along with your other 2 stars in Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball. Let's make this cycle complete. Let's go get you a 3rd star. I know VJ Edgecombe probably fits the team a little bit more because, he's a wing player and he can slide into that too. But let's think about this. Brandon Miller can play the 2 also. LaMelo, we know he's going to play point guard, right? You have Tijon Salon there. Trade Miles Bridges. Get him up out of there. I guarantee you, if you build this team, build the bench primarily, and get you another big man to replace Mark Williams, right? See what his marking can get you. Go get you a big man at the bottom of the draft. Go trade back into it. Go get a Thomas Sorber or something like that. But I primarily want you guys to go get somebody younger who's on the market. Like, go get a DeAndre Ayton. I would love a DeAndre Ayton in Charlotte to catch lobs from LaMelo Ball, right? Now you have a lineup of LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Ace Bailey, Tijon Salon, and possibly DeAndre Ayton or Mark Williams if he's still there. Sign me up for that. And then you develop that bench, right? You sign guys or trade for guys that can come off that bench and can be a valuable asset for you. And I think they can be a play-in team next year and possibly make the playoffs as an HC. And number 1, who's always going to be number 1 in my heart? Give it to me. The Atlanta Hawks. It's the Atlanta Hawks. And I'm going to tell you why. The Atlanta Hawks make so much sense for Ace Bailey if they decide to rebuild. Like I mentioned, the new ownership group has not come out and said anything about this current roster. Onsa Sala has not come out and said anything about this roster. We just hired 2 senior vice presidents in their respective positions of analytics and basically team management. So what does that go to show you right there? That Trae Young could be on the market. And I don't want to trade Trae Young, but if he wants to win and doesn't want to be here, we appreciate everything that he has done. But I'm trying everything to keep him here. But in the event that you do keep Trae Young and you do want Ace Bailey, I think you can run a lot of a Trae Young out there with Rishi Shea and Jalen Johnson and Ace Bailey and Onyeka Okongwu. I do think you could run a lineup out there. Or you could possibly even have some days. You could probably bring him off the bench. I know he doesn't want to come off the bench, but hey, you in the A, you competing for at least a playoff spot. I think, and maybe a championship. We can get this right. I know Kamal Maliwatch makes perfect sense for our team, but why not Ace Bailey? Atlanta needs Ace. Why not him? Why not Atlanta trading up to go get Ace Bailey? Why not? I think it'd be perfect. But that's my 5. Let me know down below, is he going to cancel any more workouts? Do you think the Hawks should trade up for anybody? And if so, Ace Bailey? Do you think that the NBA draft is going to culminate into one of the best we've ever seen? Do you think Kevin Durant waits till draft night to get traded so he can get all the attention on him? Because I think so. Or do you think a deal gets done before then? Let me know.